Hey, welcome back to episode of Geek Centurions, me, boy, Eli.
Me, Joe.
And so, we couldn't help but not talk about this. There's been a recent development of stuff within, say, Amazon and in the anime community. Um, to sum it up, Amazon is kind of in problems with not only Katakawa but also Sentai Filmworks for using generative AI. We're back to the AI discussion for not one but a couple of different animes.
Yeah, so Amazon, I believe, introduced recently this AI generating dub, English dub for, I forget one of the animes, but the other one was
uh,
No Game No Life.
no, it was like a prequel from No Game No Life, and I think the other one, the one that most people caught attention to, was Banana Fish.
Yeah, so they offered the option to have a AI dub version of those shows, and yeah, it was about as bad as you would expect.
Yeah, so I've not watched Banana Fish. I've heard it's really good. It's one of those I put it on my watch list. Um, Same with No Game No Life. But I caught the clip, and it's been sort of like a developing story since it first came out, right? Because this was a thing that happened like early in the week. I want to say last week.
Yeah, about a couple days ago, I would
Yeah,
say, as of the time of this recording.
yeah.
But yeah, there have been some clips running around of just how how bad it is.
They got taken down.
Yeah, Amazon quickly did take down those AI dub uh, from the service, and obviously, like you said, Katakawa and Sentai Filmworks, who does actually have the English dubs for those animes, like actual legit with actual voice actors and everything, which kind of adds a little wrinkle into this whole
They were
thing.
not made aware that this was happening.
Yeah, because obviously Katakawa, owns these rights and probably also has the ability to license out. Hey, you can do a dub of this, right?
Mm.
Which is sort of how I'm pretty sure a lot of anime studios usually work in terms of like, hey, you get, hey Funimation or hey Sentai Filmworks or hey, uh,
NYAB.
yeah, all these other like studios or whatever. Like, we give you the license to provide an English dub for this anime or whatever, right? That's sort of how that's how it generally works.
From your understanding.
From my understanding is that
Yeah.
that's like, hey, you get a license to provide a voice dub for this project for this thing, right?
Yeah.
So it is interesting that Amazon decided to go, nah, I'm just gonna just put this through an AI voice bot or whatever and just see where it goes.
And I've seen the clips. They are bad.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so like I understand. I'm not supportive of AI, but I understand why people want to use it, right?
But yeah, Amazon doing, yeah, it's just an interesting thing. I
Like
mean,
again, I get the idea of using AI, right? Like I understand using it as a tool, like a tool to help with like a lot of things and stuff like that. I get that as a tool, but as a replacement for me, that's just the weird thing I'm not okay with.
yeah, it's because the thing is, like, there's like various applications that you are right that I think AI benefits a lot from, of just sort of slimming down and like helping
Mm.
process things. I mean, Amazon itself has AI stuff when it comes to like maybe logistics and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And I think that's where people are kind of wanting that to go, but then obviously you have stuff like these generative AI stuff, like fucking Twitter's Grok or whatever, right?
yeah.
Like these
The
AI image generative image stuff or like voice stuff. I mean,
things that are meant, the things that are feeling like they're being replaced by like the human touch.
yeah, and it's I mean, it's pretty clearly obvious, at least with this attempt of like just it feels like an evolution of people wanting to use AI to like. 'Cause I heard that there are things like machine learning translation or whatever of like you just take a bunch of text or whatever
Mm-hmm.
and just translate it to a different language, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a souped up version of Google Translate,
Mm-hmm.
basically. But you sometimes lose a bit of
The nuance.
the nuance and stuff. Like as an example, right?
Yeah.
Just to go a little off track here.
Mhm.
Uh, I no good. I do not write well in Spanish. I can speak the language, but when it comes to writing it, no good. No bueno. All right. Um,
To be fair, you don't have much of a use for it at where you're at right now.
yes. However, in classes, right, where we had Spanish classes and that sort of thing, if we needed to write an essay at home, like not an essay, right, but like
That's the old joke.
yeah, yeah. So what I would do would be basically just type what I would need to write in English and put it through Google Translate into Spanish. However, obviously, sometimes I would notice that it would just give out some words that I know I wouldn't use,
Yeah.
or just have some weird content.
Or would use a different language. Because so like we're both Mexican Americans, right? But the Google Translate would use Spain Spanish instead of
Yeah, there's various
Mexican Spanish.
various dialects of Spanish, right?
Yeah.
So pretty much, kind of what I would do would be like once it was done translating, I would
Mhm.
just go through it and just sort of change out various words that I know probably make more sense for someone of my intelligence to say,
Mhm.
right? 'Cause sometimes we just say like actual random big words where I'm like, all right, that's not what I meant to say, but sure.
Mhm.
Just change that stuff out. That's kind of what I would do, and that's sort of what I think people don't understand when it comes to that sort of thing. Of like, oh, let's just take the text, or rather, let's just take this Japanese, like full-on Japanese text, and just automatically translate it into English, and it'll work fine, right? And it's like there are just some words in Japanese that just don't make sense in English.
No, yeah, exactly, because there's a whole dialect thing. Like the example that I always go to is translating film into a different language, like the language of film, right? Not only the language of film, like the process, but like like English to Spanish, for example, right? Like I always think about how the first Shrek movie has that the joke of like the gingerbread man,
Yeah.
but in Spanish it's a different joke because for a lot of Latin Americans they don't know the gingerbread man story.
Yeah, it's a very Western story, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So like if you were to do a change to that, you would have to change it to something that is like native to the dialect, native to something that the people of that country would understand. And also certain languages like don't translate well. Like I can't think of one on the top of my head, but it's one that people would ask me about in terms of speaking Spanish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're using Spanish right now because we're bilingual in that way.
Yeah, yeah. It's the closest language we could think of. I'm not because like, I'm not gonna just go like, oh yes, idikimasu. Yeah, yeah,
I feel like you might have mispronounced that, but sure.
Mispronounce it intentionally,
Yeah.
just to drive the point across, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like someone asked me like, how do you say this in Spanish? I'm like, well, it depends on the context.
Yeah, I think my favorite example of that would be whenever people ask about ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because there are different words for ice cream. There is like I think the proper term, which is like helado or whatever, or gelato
Yeah.
or whatever, right?
Yeah, helado.
Yeah. But we grew up saying just yellow or whatever, which is also just kind of the word for like ice in general.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or
nieve,
snow.
nieve, which is snow.
Yeah.
But we also just use it for just ice cream because when you live in where we live, we don't get a whole lot of snow anyway,
Mm-hmm.
or even where our family comes from, there's not a whole lot of snow there anyway.
In general.
In general, so it's kind of one of those interesting things of like different regional dialects and different things of saying tend to have like various different.
And Japan has more than just Japanese.
Like there is like you have like different dialects probably and stuff of saying in Japanese.
Like the one that I can think of off the top of my head is the Okinawan language.
Yeah, like and
Like growing up, I thought Okinawa was part of Japan, but then one of my teachers from high school, who studied, who like was like, oh yeah, I did karate. I studied like under like certain grandmaster, all that stuff. And he's like, oh, we were talking about like Karate Kid, and he was like, but he does Okinawan karate. He's like, isn't that like no? Actually, let me sit you down. He's like, he didn't give me like the whole spiel because he's like, white guy.
yeah,
But he's like,
yeah.
He's like, think of Salvador, and they gotcha.
Yeah. But it's just to get the point across, it's like it's kind of when you actually watch like an anime dub and you have a character that just talks in like a southern accent,
Yeah.
like that southern twang. It's because I believe in the Japanese they're basically speaking like sort of kind of like a country bumpkin accent, their
Yeah.
version of that, right?
Yeah.
That's why in an English dub they get that country accent because that's the closest thing to American audiences to understand, right? Like
Oh
that.
yeah.
I mean, like at the end of the day, this is really just sort of a more of a Amazon's whole AI thing is really more of just a nuance of like the various problems and realities of translating and localizing stuff from other countries
Oh,
and
of
stuff,
course, of
right?
course. Like I like just thinking about another example right now was that joke in Smiling Friends, where they I think it was season two with the homunculus dude.
Yes, it was that episode where they I believe the joke is that they sort of huddle together and they just start speaking Spanish. Like they have their I guess Spanish voice actors from like the other language speak for them, and then I think Professor Psychotic is his name. Just goes, "You guys realize I understand Spanish, right? Like I heard everything you said." It's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But in the Spanish version,
Yeah.
they just do the bit, and it's just like I can still hear you guys. You're not, you guys aren't talking that. Besides, still talking loud. I can still hear you.
Yeah, but if you went with a different Spanish, it's like you just change your accent.
Yeah,
Which I'm like, yeah, no, that's a joke that still works.
yeah. At the end of the day, right?
Yeah. So like for me, it just it feels very weird because why would you do like if I were to give you an example of how the dub was, it was some of you guys might have already seen it, but it was very much like Joe, I am angry with you. You have angered the wrath of 1,000 suns. Kind of like it was like the most
Yeah.
monotone, robotic,
Mm-hmm.
no emotion in it, which is funny because when it comes to voice act, and I think it's because maybe also because one cheap, two like voice acting I don't think is respected as much as actual as acting compared to like
At least in those states.
in the states, yeah,
Yeah.
because like a lot of things go into voice acting. You know, you have because it's not just you have to emote with just with regular acting, you're emoting with your body, with your face, with like so many factors, right? With voice acting, like oh, you're just doing it with your voice, you just scream loud. I'm like no, 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 no. You it like watch. I don't want to use just any anime, but like any show that involves voice acting, you can hear like the tone of voice. There's like something about like the way they like even when you listen to a podcast, right? Like the tone in the voice is like there's something in it that makes it like more engaging, right? Like it's voice acting isn't as easy as people think it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like realistically speaking, I feel like people should know the power of voice acting because James Earl Jones voiced Darth Vader, one of the most popular characters of all time, and he never played the character in suit. Like it was just all his voice, but you could just tell from James Earl Jones' voicing of Darth Vader just who Darth Vader was.
The emotion he put into it.
Yeah, like yeah, you have I forget the guy's name who played Darth in the suit, but
Like most casual Star Wars fans.
yeah, but the main point being is that James Earl Jones' voice performance is what elevates Darth Vader into the character that he is.
Yeah, because that moment, there's that I always think of like you saying Darth Vader. There's that scene where he's like, "It is too late for me, son."
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could hear like the tiredness, the full weight of it, or like when it like it like he has such power, he's such a powerful voice, and he has like very good voice direction in that one. And like for that, I can totally tell you, it's like basically, it's like they didn't want to pay for all that.
Which yeah, that's the thing I'm interested about because again, like we brought up earlier, Sentai Filmworks is an English dubbing company that has the actual like license and therefore has done dubs for both of these animes, right?
Yeah,
So like why does Amazon not have their version of the dub on their streaming service?
right.
That's so weird to me. Like, because because I don't know, because I thought I put some thought into this because uh, for example, right, like did you just not want to pay the license? Because I know, for example, in Netflix right now, I believe you can watch Dragon Ball Daima,
Yeah.
but it only has the Japanese
Mm.
subtitles, no dub. But if you go onto Hulu, you can get the dub for Dragon Ball Daima. So in my brain, I'm kind of just like, it's always kind of weird to me, right? Of
Yeah.
like, okay, so then like, so I guess in Hulu got the rights for the dub.
Yeah.
Netflix, do they have the rights? Do they want to pay for the rights? Do they not? Is it just like whatever, you know? And granted, like, some animes do get like redubs from time to time. Like, funny enough, I'm mentioning Netflix. I think they did a redub of Ava a while back, right?
Yeah.
With some mixed reception, if I recall correctly. Some people were.
Don't recall.
Well, I think I remember some people being like, I think it might have been just the original voice actors themselves being kind of like, but whatever. So like, it wouldn't be necessarily. Is it really just a cost thing for Amazon? They felt like, oh, we don't want to pay for the license to get the dub, but we also don't want to pay a studio or our own, or get somebody else to dub it for, give us a new dub, or whatever. So we're just gonna say,
Because they've done that before with like Vinland Saga.
yeah.
Because remember, there's like I think 3 different dubs or something like that.
I mean, the last time I heard of 3 different dubs for a single anime is like fucking the original Dragon Ball Z, right? You got the Ocean dub, you got
Funimation
Funimation's
dub.
well, Funimation's old dub, and then like their more reworked dub, and then I'm not gonna count Kai as a dub.
I was gonna say Big Green.
Yeah, I'm about to say the Big Green dub.
Big
Like,
Green.
it's Big Green.
Big Green.
Like KOK.
Yeah. Or like this is gonna be Gundam related when they redub Gundam Seed.
I was gonna say, doesn't like the original Gundam has its own dub, but then for the movie versions they went with a completely different cast and
The
dub.
movie came out before they started dubbing the show.
Okay, so because the movie has Bright Noah as a British man, say that with a vaguely Spanish accent.
And then like Amuro is like surprisingly less timid.
Yeah.
He's like, cause I remember seeing a clip. He's like, "All right, Gundam, let's see what you're made of." And I'm like, that does not sound like Amuro would something that Amuro would say. That boy he's got trauma all around.
Yeah, so I think that's just funny to me. But point being, right, is that dubbing, it's like that's sort of the big question in my brain, which I guess kind of leans into maybe the reason why Amazon did it. It's just like they were too cheap. But again, it's like Amazon, you have so much money, like why even bother? But I don't know. It's one of those like I don't know. It's such an interesting sort of decision, and the fact that they thought they could get away with doing it, right? And just like, oh yeah, clearly this sounds great, right? Like no one's gonna people are gonna be fine with this, right?
Obviously, that is like the easiest thing for them to think, right? Because it's like
You're like $1 billion company, right?
Yeah, all you see is the numbers and not the people behind it, right? So, because like if you're someone who, well, if you're someone who like works in it and you're someone who appreciates it, you'll see like the inconsistencies. Like again, no one would say the thing or say in the way the dub that AI dub would say it as, right? Like you have angered me. You shall feel the wrath of like what I said earlier, right? Like you shall feel the wrath of 1,000 suns, and like no, if someone were to voice act it, they would put their fucking heart in it.
If they're good.
If they're good.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing we got.
Sean Schemmel passed out screaming for Goku.
Yeah.
You cannot get that from an AI dub.
Yeah, and I think it's just an interesting thing about it too, of like at a certain point, like when do people just like actually give it, care about the quality, right? Which I think is probably what Amazon was also banking on. Like nobody cares about English dubs. Why bother?
Well, that's also
quality.
That's also the thing with any big corporation now when they're going with the dubs. Remember what the CEO Bob Iger said about Disney Plus gonna be starting using like AI ads or something like that, AI products.
I thought they were doing AI generated like
Shorts or something.
shorts or something. I don't
And
know.
I'm just like, why? You're Disney. you can pay someone and wouldn't deal a debt within you.
I don't know, man. Infinite money growth, right? That's the bottom line, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna keep printing money. If we have even the slightest of down years, it's a failure, and we need to start firing people to keep the number up and up and up.
Oh, like a 2% failure is gonna ruin your $1 billion corporation.
I don't know, man. Last time I checked, Disney's strapped for cash. That's why they can't build any animatronics or something like that. I don't know. Been watching too much Defunctland. But anyways, um, you know, I think because I think about it like this, right? When it comes to the anime community, obviously one of the more interesting debates is always sub versus dub.
Yeah.
I've always been on the side of just watch whatever you watch.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever's more comfortable for you to watch the show, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I watch mainly dub. If it's only in sub, then I will watch it in the sub, right? Like, I really don't care. It's just simply because if I'm doing something else, I'm not gonna be able to read the subtitles, and I don't understand enough Japanese to get what's happening, right? Like if I'm gaming or whatever, it's kind of hard to split my eyes between the two screens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just far better for me to just have the English dub running, and at least I can hear what's happening. But I also understand people will, there's a fair amount of, anime fans that are like, these dubs suck. They're not as good as the Japanese actors or whatever, the usual talking points,
I
right?
always feel like that's also kind of like the language barrier.
Yeah, I was about to say it's
Because let's be honest, a lot of things that are said in shows like that, no one could say in real life.
Yeah, like again, it's a nuanced talking discussion point that I think most people just generally generalize down to one is good, one is bad, that sort of thing, right?
Mm.
And that's sort of something I find interesting of like, do people who even just watch the subs care that this is going on, or are they just like, yes, whatever, like I'm still gonna keep watching subs, but then if that, because I feel like because I mean, here's the thing, right? If they're doing AI voice dubs in English, you'd think I'm pretty sure they're also just having an AI just subtitle your shows.
Well, that's another thing going on too, because it's the whole like having an AI do the subtitles with Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
So like the conversation now is like, which do you prefer? It's no longer a sub versus dub. I feel like most people are just kind of like whatever, as long as you're able to enjoy the series.
Now it's just a question of like how much AI is handling this shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like if you're still in the sub versus dub, I think it's a childish point at this point for it in general. But the question of like actual like AI being involved within the production or like translating of these shows for people to enjoy, I think that's where like people are now like being more interested on, because like we said earlier, there's a dialect thing when it comes to language, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's also like certain words that you would use depending on the context, and that is always dependent on the person who is saying it, right? Like we use the ice cream example. Like we can say ice cream in three different, but like ice cream is just one word.
Yeah.
In the English language.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it also depends on which one you're using more than the other. So,
Right.
I think that's where it comes down to. With the dub translation, you kind of need the person to like know how to translate and know like what's the correct way to say this and what is the most natural way for someone to say it in that language, right? Same thing with like the sub. You're like, we're gonna end up going back to the old fan subs, and they'll have like a little word up top saying.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. So I feel like there's a few people that actually prefer that, of like just leaving it as it is. I mean, the obvious meme, right, of like, according to Keikaku means plan. Then why the hell did you just not just have plan there? Because Keikaku sounds cooler, dude. Nakama, like it means friend, but it means so much more than just friend.
Just say your fucking friend.
That's why we keep it as Nakama. Again, there's like stuff like that, right? Where it's like,
yeah, but I feel like that's also old heads.
Yeah, fair enough. But like I guess the point I'm trying to make is that like there's always gonna be people trying to debate what's right and what's wrong, even when it comes to like fan subs like that.
Yeah, but I think the real question now is the involvement of AI more than anything else.
Yeah, which
Like that's always going to be a thing for someone. That's always going to be a thing. There's like no one's going to really change their mind sometimes, or there'll always be something similar to that. Like, do I prefer using this word or that word, and that's just going to be a thing. But it's more right now, like again with the AI thing, and because the AI is being like everywhere now, and it's being pushed harder in ways that like okay, we are barely scratching the surface of AI. We shouldn't even be using it for any of this, and we shouldn't really be using it in ways that where a human touch is needed.
I mean, so much so that there may or may not be a AI bubble, and who knows if that will potentially pop and the ramifications of that. But you know, that's the future. We don't have to worry about that, right?
Not in a few, not in a few. Was it a year or two from now?
Yeah, who knows what happens, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it is just such a telling sign from at least from Amazon, just being like, oh, we have this much money to just throw an AI at it that does basically like it's so funny to me because it's like if it just feels like they just had like one of those like because people have like those like applications or whatever where just like a robot just like not like a Microsoft Sam thing but it's just like a voice to text to speech generator, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it basically sounded like to me when I watched the clips of like it just somebody did that. It's like that's just way it sounds easier to do than actually just getting an AI to do it. In my opinion, if you were really that lazy, you couldn't just get like I don't know. It's just so interesting to me. Oh, that because I don't even know like
Just to clarify, you're not saying you're in support of that.
no. What I am saying is I find it quite hilarious that Amazon went to such a length to have an AI voice generator
When they
just
could have
do
just been
that.
even more lazier and just do that.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Okay.
if I'm saving top bottom dollar, we're not using AI on this stuff. We're using the cheap stuff, all right? Like, listen, I'm just saying, like, if we're being money pinching $1 billion companies, you gotta do it better than this, right? You gotta save the AI stuff for cool stuff, I don't know. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, it is, it's telling. I mean, who knows, like, if Amazon like hell, maybe they stop doing the English stuff, but could you imagine them doing that stuff for foreign language stuff? Could you imagine them doing like an AI like Spanish stuff for animes, but no one's gonna pay attention because who the hell watches anime in Spanish, right?
People in Spanish, Spain, who speak Spanish.
Yeah, but how many those guys are gonna voice their,
A lot, dude. You have no idea how many people in Latin American countries have like Spanish does. It's
my
more than you think.
my main point being though is that like it could be already happening, we just don't know.
Oh well. Here's the thing. In that sense, because what you're saying is, what are the like we're able to pay attention because we're being it's around us more. But if it's somewhere else that no one pays attention to, is it really being right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
Yeah, but to that I would say no. You'll still hear it because of the access of social media.
I'm just saying, man, how many people are paying attention to Mexican social media? Like I'm talking about the wider internet.
Yeah, I feel like it would cause like okay, so like if that's your case, we also have to think about the size of everything else, right? Because like I like to use the example of Joe Schmo, right? Joe Schmo does not know the stuff that's going on with AI compared to someone who is well AI and anime. Let's use that, right?
Yeah.
Versus the person that is into anime. Like we would see it because we are we're involved in that. It's part of our fandom and stuff. But Joe Schmo isn't gonna know that. He's just a dude who's regularly going through life. He probably hears AI and is like, oh, that's cool. It's like Terminator, but like nicer. But doesn't have the full context of all this stuff that like, okay, this is why this is why AI is bad. Like I have people. I have coworkers who are learning about AI in colleges,
Mhm.
and they don't see the issue. Like they would bring it up to like, oh yeah, I'm learning about AI. I'm like, ugh. And they're like, why is that bad? Okay, let me give it the spill. She's a Joe Schmo because she doesn't know,
Yeah.
that, and so it kind of depends on like where in the sphere that it hits. So if it hits a certain sphere, then yes, it's gonna be an issue. But it hasn't hit that big bubble, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's like to answer your question. Like I feel like if it was like a small like another country that does like AI dub, you will hear about it because it will still hit our radar. But in terms of like bigger people, normal people, that might be a little harder.
But isn't it at the end of the day those normal people that are gonna be into this though? Because they don't know.
What to be into AI or just like,
Well, not notice it.
well, yeah.
Well, all I'm saying is that like
Like I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with you. I'll say that right now.
yeah. So all I'm saying is that point being is that Amazon got caught, and who knows if they try to do it again, but maybe they improve their algorithms. But all I gotta say is like, how much is the licensing for the dub? How much does it really cost? Because I mean, like, come on,
Yeah.
like it shouldn't be. You know, it'd be so funny if they actually have the actual license to the dub,
Mhm.
like they have it, they just didn't realize it and just went like, ah, fuck it, or they have it and just like, you want to.
I think this is more of a test.
No, I definitely agree. It
This
definitely.
ha- this is more of a test to see how people will react to it. But the thing about it is,
And I don't think that Amazon is gonna be the only one to do it.
no, they're not. They're not.
Like, I'm pretty
We
positive.
just talked about how like Disney's about to do it too.
Well, no, I'm just not just. I mean, just I'm talking about like AI dub in general or whatever. You know.
Oh, I was talking about more like using AI for,
Well, no, I
yeah,
know
yeah,
about the
yeah, yeah.
yeah. But
In
that's
ge- yeah.
that. I think that's a bit different than AI dubs because at that point, like, at least AI generated content. At least it's like when what Disney's doing, right? That that's bad or whatever. But
Mhm.
AI generating voice dubs or whatever in anime. That's I feel like Netflix is probably gonna get on that. All I'm saying is that there's gonna be a lot of I think other like
Oh no, no,
companies doing that.
this is just the beginning, obviously, and that's kind of the issue again that I think a lot of people would agree with. Like, if you want to use AI to help you with certain as a tool to help you with certain things, that's fine. But if you use it to replace, that human touch, I think that's where everyone has an issue with. And obviously, with like big corporations, you want to go cheap. So instead of paying like so and so for what they are trained to do, whether they spend time to do, learn to do, they're gonna be they're like, I'm not gonna I'm just gonna go with the cheaper option, which
Right.
is like, hey, let me go with this guy, let me go with the computer, even though it's for them it's not obvious, for us it's obvious, where it's like, yeah, that just sounds really bad. So like it's gonna it's gonna be happening. Well, it won't be happening as fast as we think it's gonna happen, probably. But it's gonna start going into that word until they start realizing, hey, this is actually counterintuitive. We're not making anything out of it.
Right.
I think that's what's gonna happen. That is the most likely thing to happen.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's very alarming to see. I mean, obviously Amazon took it down, but I personally think that they'll bring it back. Because sometimes once controversy happens and a lot of people get on it and then just forget about it, they slowly put it back in there. But I mean, yeah, I think that's all we got, right?
That's all we got. Honest, like the thing about AI is that people are putting a lot of bank into something that is like not as finely tuned as they think it is. And I'm not that deep into AI to know like if it's finely tuned, but everything that I've been seeing, it's like, nah, there's still something about it that feels really wrong. But yeah, no, I think that's a good spot to end it. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to follow us on all social media that we're active on, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Most active on Instagram. There you'll find a link tree to all podcasts. We're officially part of like all podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all the like, and a link tree to the YouTube. For your audio listeners out there, I'm gonna put a face to the voice, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe on that. We have a Patreon for any form of support. And yeah, is there anything else you want to end it with the AI thing?
I mean, it's like I said earlier. There is an AI bubble out there. Whether or not how big it is or when it'll pop, I mean, I don't know. But I mean, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, I agree. It's been me, your boy Eli.
Big Joe.
You guys have a good one. Peace.